pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop.
And we are back, your Purple Pants Pitstop duo covering Amazing Race, season 37, episode 3. I am really excited to be here with my good girlfriend, Miss Brooke Kim. Hi. Some forget she might be a lawyer, but at any given time, she might have to swear somebody in for a deposition. And she's there and ready. Brooke, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am amazing because we get to talk about Amazing Race, season 37, episode 3. But even more importantly, Brooke, guess what?
Tell me.
This is the Purple Pants Podcast 500th. Did I say it right? 500. 500 episode. Oh my God. And guess what?
I knew.
Ah!
Happy 500.
Thank you so much. It is so crazy to think that this is such a huge milestone. And I know we are here to talk about Amazing Race, but I just couldn't be remiss to just thank the Purple Pants posse, all of our listeners and watchers, and of course with you. And it's just so special to get to have 500 episodes and I get to talk about Amazing Race. It's almost the amount of kids that Scott and Lori have, but it's okay. It's 500. And again, I just am so happy. I'm so proud to see where the podcast has gone. And we are still going many places. So again, I can't thank everyone that is listening and watching. And if you want to celebrate with us, you can subscribe to the Purple Pants Podcast. It's available anywhere you listen to podcasts. And you can subscribe to the Brice Izyah YouTube channel. That would be a great 500. And put some 500s in the comments. 500, 100, 500. 500.
Don't stop now.
500. Okay, yeah, listen. All right, but I'm just so excited.
We could do this all day. Congratulations. I am so happy to have been part of a small part of the 500. I remember saying congratulations on 100, which was like, you do a lot, man. That's a lot of episodes. That's more than most any TV shows ever run. That is 20 seasons of a regular network television show. That's nuts to me. So congratulations. Everybody like and subscribe to Brice because, you know, he deserves it. He's the hardest working man in podcasting. So thank you for having me here for 500. I know you told me off the air that we're talking about your favorite show for the 500th episode, which might be a lie, but I don't care. I'm saying it anyway. And we'll talk about anything you want this time.
Okay, well, listen, I'm excited. We got a lot to unpack in this episode. It is so many things happening. I thought this was so many people's episodes. At this point, there really isn't a team that I am not rooting for. Everyone in their own way and right, I am rooting for. There are some people. There is one cuss out I got to give today. Just one, but everything else I think is all love and I'm cracking up. And this season is really, really, really great. I said it the first episode. I'm saying it the second episode. In the third episode, I, again, am loving the old school Amazing Race that we are getting because in previous seasons, the order didn't change too much. They all was starting at the same time. They all was on these charter flights. What I am loving in this episode is that the order changes a lot. It is, it's like
I couldn't keep anything straight. I've got 16 pages front and back because let's get real. But I sort of started giving up. I just started to be like, meanwhile, while this is happening, this is also happening. There are just so many flippy flops going on and switches and movement and it was too much to this might be, now I feel badly because it's episode 500, a ridiculous disaster, but we're going to try and make it all make sense because a lot has happened and you are right. This is episode 2 gave us travel agency, old school Amazing Race and airport drama. Episode 3 gave us so much like Detour, Roadblock, placement switching. I have one it's minuscule. It's about the express pass. It's fine. But this episode, this season is not disappointed even once. And I have a feeling it's only going to get better. So Should we talk about it?
We should. I'm
Okay.
excited. And I think my issue with the Express Pass might be your issue with the Express Pass.
Wait, so we're going to agree on something?
I don't know. Well,
Probably
girl,
not.
Who
Let's get
knows?
real.
Who knows? Who knows? Because listen, and also shout out to Phil the other day while I was in the airport. Where was I at? I think I was in San Francisco. Brooke texts me and calls me, not Phil, just randomly posted our clip of the Phil elimination. Did I say it right?
No.
Well, okay, let me try. Phil elimination. Hold on, wait. No, let me say it wrong so I can get it. Phil elimination. Phil elimination.
No, just get rid. Phil.
Philation.
Philation? No.
Oh, that's
Phil.
it. That gotta sound nasty.
Just get rid of the E. Phil elimination. Philimination.
Elimination.
What? Yes! I'll just agree with you at this point because yes, correct. Done.
That's what I've been saying the whole time. Elimination.
I wish that I had the ability to cut back to previous clips because no, it's not. But I love you. Anyway, Phil put us on his Instagram page talking about the elimination. So thank you, Phil. He's currently out there filming season 38 of The Amazing Race.
Wait a minute, Brooke. Forgot about that. We need to talk about that real quick.
Okay.
I mean, listen, it's not spoilers because it's all over the world. It's all over the internet. Allegedly, they are filming season 38 right now.
That is a fact.
And it is the Big Brother contestant season. And I'm so excited because literally it's like 6 teams are actually my friends that I know and that I love and that I'm rooting for. And so it is very interesting.
You're going to have to tell me who you're going to root for the most because they can't all win. You got to like somebody a little bit better.
Well, I mean, it's hard. I think there is Kyland and Taylor, who I love.
That is rumored.
That is Jag and Jazz that I love. There is Izzy and Paige that I love. There is Joseph and his fine brother.
That is also.
And I also love that it's Ramadan right now. And then there are photos online that you can see with Joseph and his brother in like their like a traditional like Arab garb. I love that. There is Tucker. There's Hannah and her sister from the cookout that I love. Who else? Am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing a lot of people, but those are the people that off the top that like they my friends. Like I know them. So I'm super excited for season 38. That will be a fun season. And so it also is just it's crazy because I haven't I'm new to Amazing Race. And so I don't always, I guess the spoilers are out there when they are filming, but I guess when there are Big Brother contestants all around the world that people are actually like getting the snapshots of them running the race. That's wild. This is like my first go round of that, but I don't want to be spoiled. So it's
I don't want you to know what happens. I try and steer clear of that.
And so it sucks because I've had to mute, like, you know, you can mute words on Twitter and different things. So I've muted The Amazing Race. So it sucks because I'm not seeing a lot of posts, but I don't want to know anything. But I am just like really happy for the alleged season that is happening.
It's happening. It's real and it's happening. I know a little, but I don't know much because I don't like to know. But so far it looks cool. Anyway, thank you, Phil. We appreciate you putting us out there. Hope you're having fun.
And he agreed. I was right with the Phil elimination. Right, thank you. Phil.
Actually, he agreed with neither one of us. So I'm not doing this. We're not doing this. Not for 500. Right. It's a day of celebration. It's a day of happiness. We're not doing that. Okay.
I'll go to 2000. I'm right. But anyway, let's go on because listen, we got a lot to go on.
I'm going to let you have it because it's your day, even though if you go back and watch the tape, you are wrong. Okay, so episode 3, season 37, we are going from Osaka, Japan to Kyoto, Japan. And we're staying in the same country, which you would think would make me mad. But you know what? Surprise turn of events. It doesn't. I loved everything that happened in this episode. And I'm okay when you stay in the same country, especially if you're going to like a totally different area with a different feel and a different vibe. And that's what you got in this episode. So
I want to say in the last, wait, what season did Ricky and Caesar win?
36, the last one.
36. Right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And these 2 episodes alone.
Oh, they travel more miles in the entirety of 36. Like, yeah, it's just a fact. Shout out to Ricky and Caesar though, because they were in Japan recently.
Yes.
And they put on their Instagram, they went to all the places from this episode. So I don't know where they got their intel, except they kind of do, but whatever. And they went and basically showed some of these tasks from like the producer's point of view. So very, very cute. Loved it. I love when everyone does all of their stuff about The Amazing Race. I like that we're a supportive podcast that supports all of the other people doing all of their other things.
Absolutely. And again, one of the reasons why I love Amazing Race, and we'll just go on and on, is I feel like Amazing Race doesn't get the respect that it deserves. Like, again, I come from Survivor, which is arguably the best reality TV show out there. But I feel like Survivor, Big Brother, they get put on this pedestal. And I feel like Amazing Race is like their cousins. Sometimes I have this fight with you, Brooke, but I feel like you are an Amazing Race winner. Greg and John, Amazing Race winner. Ricky and Cesar, Amazing Race winner. Like, I don't feel like we put enough respect on y'all names, and which is really a passion of mine. And you know me, I always try to uplift and big everyone up, and that's why I always roll out the red carpet for my Amazing Race family. Any Brice and Win event that we go to, we treat everyone, but you know me especially, I treat my Amazing Race family like family, like you guys are stars. I just feel like it doesn't get celebrated enough. And as I am discovering it with little platform that I have, I like to uplift and love. So that was just a little, hold on, wait, child, nah, already, hold on, wait, sorry. That's my TED Talk, okay? My TED Talk this week is put some respect on Amazing Race. Thank you for coming.
No, that's the shortest TED Talk of all time. I will say Amazing Race fans, however, are awesome because I won't name names, but there was a person or two on the Twitter, since you've muted things, maybe you didn't see it, who was all Big Brother saving a show with dying ratings and the race by having Big Brother contestants on it. The tweet was deleted almost immediately because rabid Amazing Race fans were like, where's your Emmys, Big Brother? Or where's your, like, how great are, like, people came at. And
did you see Lewis respond?
Okay, I did.
Oh, yeah. No, Lewis clapped back. First of all, that was Josh Martinez. Also, I love Josh Martinez. I love Josh Martinez. And so we'll just leave it at that. But shout out to Lewis, okay? Because Lewis clapped back, and then he ended it with little Joshy. I said, ooh, Lewis. But shout out to Josh Martinez.
For the record, I don't want to be part of this fight. I just wanted to bring it to people's attention and talk about how great the Amazing Race fans were for sticking up for a show that is some little dying nothing show. The Amazing Race is arguably, by me, the best reality show on TV, and the fans are amazing, and we have the Emmys to back it up. So that's that story. It's been 13 minutes. We haven't talked about the show at all, but also I think that for your 500th episode, we should just make this a 500-minute long. I'm just kidding. That's a long time. What is that, like 6 hours?
Girl, I don't know.
It's too many hours. Okay.
So, might have took that long to get the darts and the things, because that was a lot. This episode had something that happens almost never happen in it, which is a bunch of people try to detour and everybody, not a single person finished it. Everybody switched. There's usually somebody who finishes a side of a detour if you go to it. There have been times where nobody has gone to a side, but if people go to it, somebody will correct me. I don't remember the last time where people went to something and nobody finished it, like multiple people going. So here we go. So first things first. Okay. Would you say, maybe to the producers, that like this was just not a good challenge? Like, not that it wasn't a good challenge, but so you say you still, because I feel like it's too hard. If the Fios brothers, after a meditation session. So here is the problem with the challenge. Mind you, we're all over the place. It's my 500 episode. So, the problem with the challenge and lies, they should have had more than 6 things there. They should have had like 10.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The stars were apparently very easy, and the blow darts were very, very easy. It was just about the sticks. What do you call them?
The nails.
Sure, totally. The other thing was this huge piece of paper. Now, if you know how to make an origami crane, it's actually very easy. You can do it in about 3 minutes. But if you've never done it before, and by the way, I made you a present I was going to talk about it when we got there, but I made you a little purple, or you just blacked me out.
Sorry. Let me see.
I made you a little purple origami crane for the Purple Pants podcast. I'll send it over to you. I made myself a little one too, because it's easier with regular paper than construction paper. But I did that For you.
Holden will be proud. Thank you.
That's for you. I have named him Reginald. Anyway.
Come on, Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie's coming to you. We're gonna put it on the shelf behind you. Okay. Rewind a little bit. The Express Pass is back, and we are told at the very beginning of this episode, at the very beginning of next episode, there's going to be a new twist called the driver's seat. I might have a gripe with this. I think a lot. I watched the previews for the next episode. First of all, they're going to Bali. I am psyched. Second of all, everybody's pissed. I don't know who gets this driver's seat reward, but I know who does it, and I won't tell you who because everyone's on the preview going, I want revenge. I'm angry. Everyone is pissed at whoever has this power. So I don't know how I feel about one team having what seems like that much power, but I'm excited for next week, if for no other reason than a new twist to the game. So at the beginning of this episode, we have Jonathan and Anna at 8:31, Scott and Lori at 8:53, Alyssa and Ninja Josiah at 8:57. We have Jack and Carson at 9:08, Melinda and Erica. I was so wrong about this team at 9:19. Courtney, so wrong. Courtney and Jasmin at 9:27. Pops and Jeff at 9:28. I was also a little wrong about them. Bernie and Kerrigan a minute after that. Mark and Brett at 9:37. Mike and Nick at 9:38. And Hannah and Holden bringing up the rear by a lot at 10:34. Jonathan and Anna say they're going to stay on their toes. Apparently, Jonathan is very sensitive to the heat, so I'm curious to see what happens next week in Bali. I don't know why they shared that. If not, to tell us that something was going to happen in the future. Foreshadowing. Try Vietnam in July, Jonathan. It's not great. Scott and Lori talks about how she's not a runner. Girl, I feel you.
What does she call it? Slegging?
She called it slogging. I wrote it down because I'm going to steal that. Slow jogging. Not even jogging. This is a slow jog. And I'm going to adopt this into my everyday vernacular because I also when I'm wrong, I am wrong, very much underestimated Scott and Lori. Because apparently having 347 kids will prepare you to stay in the top tier of Amazing Racers on season 37. Okay, so Jack and Carson have decided without even knowing what anything is, they're going for the Express Pass. This is it. Courtney and Jasmin talk about how they keep their stress levels down because they are nurses in high stress situations and they can stay calm through anything. We shall see. Bernie and Kerrigan are trying to, they have to get on a bullet train to Kyoto, and Bernie and Kerrigan, well, mostly Kerrigan, is trying to figure out what the bullet train is. She's like, I think it's like a train. And Bernie's like, it's a train. And she's like, well, yeah, but I think, and she's like, it's in the name. Like, it's these two I just think are so much fun.
But I'm with Kerrigan though, because it's like, is it really a train?
What? Did you not see the movie Bullet Train? Oh, you should. Brad Pitt, a lot of people get murdered on the Bullet Train. It's a great movie. It's like a good airplane movie. It's like a fun, came out a couple years ago. Super good movie.
Is it really a train though? Right.
What do you mean? It's a train.
Because for me, a train is a chugga chew, right? The bullet, there is no chugga or no chew. It's right. And so that for me is like really what makes it a train. Chugga, true. Chew. The bullet train, like it's kind of like, again, I'm with Kerrigan. Kerrigan, it's like a cross between a rocket and an airplane.
Okay, it's your episode, so I'm just gonna let you have it. But it's train. Like, I mean, I don't know how to argue that the bullet train is a train.
So no, okay, I'm lying. It's more of a cross between a trolley and a rocket.
Totally, you are absolutely right. Congratulations on your 500th episode.
Thank you. Because it's not really a train, though.
What do you mean it's not a train?
Like, it's a train, but it's not really a train. A train should not go that fast.
I don't know how to respond
when you
to that.
pass the speed of lightning,
it's only going like 200 miles an hour. It's not the speed of, you know how fast the speed of light? Okay.
200 is a lot.
What's the fastest you've ever driven on a road?
Well, I got a ticket that I could tell you.
Because I've hit like a solid 140, 145 driving when I shouldn't have. So 200 doesn't seem that unreasonably fast to me.
Girl, fall off of a bike going 3 miles per hour and tell me how fast 200 miles per hour is going.
Okay. So I'll just go like this. On train number
Thank
one,
you.
we have Scott and Lori and Jonathan and Anna. When the train, just assume I'm air quoting it every time, stops, both teams go their separate ways. Nobody, Jonathan and Anna are not working with anybody, which is fine.
Love
The
it.
best part about
Well,
this is Jonathan and Anna get in a cab, and Scott and Lori are in the cab directly in front of them, and they're like, how?
Jonathan's like, how did they
I don't
do that?
physics. I don't understand.
Here's the thing. I love Jonathan and Anna. I don't even know if Jonathan is working with Anna, right? Jonathan is on a team by himself, okay?
Yeah,
Jonathan
we'll talk
roots
about
for
that.
himself. But I do love Jonathan, though.
I love both of them. I actually love her. I have to take a lesson from her, too, because their relationship is a little Brooke and Scott, a little. And so I think she is perfection. Okay, so on it's a train. 2, you have Alyssa and Josiah, also dark horse. I'm feeling it. They may hate me. I don't care. Even that I love them. And we have Jack and Carson, who I also love. They are the biggest nerds in the best way. They say some things I don't even understand, but I don't care because they're great. And then on train 3, which leaves at 10:06, this is my favorite moment of the episode. I know I have so many, but this is one of them. Pops and Jeff. When I said last week that Erica helped Jeff get on an airplane, and that I don't know if he was if he were by himself, if that would have happened. Shut up, Brooke, because wrong. Pops and Jeff get a very nice gentleman in the front of the line for the bullet train to not even let them cut, but to switch spots to go to the back of the line so they can have his spot in the front of the line. And so Jeff doesn't need Erica. I was wrong. They talked their way into cutting the line, which is great because then they're the only team that makes the 3rd train, which leaves at 10:06 a.m. This is how you play the Amazing Race.
Was Pops' episode, right?
Yep.
Where big but little Jeff is weak, big but little Jeff is strong, right? That was a classic Black father move, because that's something my stepdad does at the grocery store when he's getting his meat cut. He'll be like, hey, my son's got an appointment. Do you mind? Can I take your number? I've watched my stepdad do that. I'm like, what? Why? So I love how you can tell Pop's got a little game in him. Hey.
I'm not talking about cutting. I'm talking about you taking my spot so that nobody else gets mad. We're not pushing people back. And I want your spot. And that guy,
it was great.
It was great.
It's amazing.
And so they end up on that train.
I almost felt like it was classic old school, Amazing Race. I feel like that's what you would do. So I love how at times we don't hear much from Pops.
Yeah.
But evidently,
man of few words.
Golden.
Right.
It's golden.
I'm going to say, what would Charlotte do? This is what would Charlotte and Myrna do? And they are following the Charlotte and Myrna playbook in the airports and at the train station. So they watched Amazing Race season 5, I'm guessing. Okay, or they listened to us. I don't know. On train 4, which leaves about a half hour later, you have Erica and Melinda. I feel for Erica because I feel like her mom, not necessarily that she's negative, but she's pointing out facts. I see Melinda. No, hold on, because I too have been accused of being negative, and I think I am just realistic. If something is happening, even if it's not good, I'll be like, oh, that happened. And Erica's like, calm down. But she wasn't that calm. She was just saying what was going on around them. So I give Melinda a lot of credit. She is just reporting on the happenings of the moments.
I agree. I absolutely agree because I have a lot of Melinda in me. And I don't even think at times it's being negative. It's just I just say what's going on in my mind, right? And I think, and again, Erica, I do owe you an apology because I will say, where is it at? Hold on, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, Erica, welcome to my TED Talk. I think when I first saw this happening, I don't play about Melinda, so I thought you were not being so negative. But I think what it is that you've been around your mom your whole life. So you know how Melinda operates. So you just snap her out of it real quick. And so at first glance, I'm like, hey, not too much on Melinda, but actually, Erica, a little bit more on Melinda because she receives it. It's like a quick snap. It's like a kid when you almost see a kid touching something, so you say don't touch it. You gotta hit that hand real quick. So I like it. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
So I also thought Erica, this is the team I was most wrong on because I thought they were going to be out first. I just assumed you had an older lady and her daughter. They don't live, like, they not live near each other now. I didn't know what the relationship was going to be. I didn't know, honestly, I underestimated how strong Erica was going to be. I don't think they're going anywhere. And Courtney and Jasmin also are on that train. On train 5, which left at 10:39, you have Mike and Nick, Bernie and Kerrigan, and Mark and Brett. I got nothing to say about that train. And then on train 6, which left at 11, what did you say?
Rocket.
I thought you said not. Okay, fine. That left at 11:18. You have only Han and Holden. Also, I assume they're out from the beginning of this episode. I'm watching this episode thinking they're done. I also want to just take a moment. I think that I was also a bit wrong. Oh, you made, okay. Okay, so welcome to my apology tour for Han and Holden. I thought they were going to be out early. I thought he was super young. They don't live together. They said they're not particularly close. Like, they haven't seen each other in like 7 years. That's probably not the right fact, but it's something like that. I love this episode because they let me see more into their personalities. And Han is great at all good things. But Holden, I had no idea this dude had such a personality. He is like zen, but also awesome and sarcastic and hilarious. And their relationship is great. And they talk about how he played soccer. And he was like, I'm amazing. I played like, I was like a sophomore starter. And she's like, what division? He's like, we won't talk about that. Not important. Doesn't matter. But went in there and nailed things. Like, I was wrong. And I hope they stay around for a long time because I actually am very much enjoying their interaction. So 1,000 pardons. And what was in the McDonald's bag? Thank you for coming to this apology tour. Okay.
Now, real quick, because we do want to know what was in the McDonald's bag. Holden did post on his Instagram trying to get a sponsorship from McDonald's. So, Mickey D's, shout out to Holden. Again, when I first saw this team, I knew that I was going to love them. I thought my love would be for Han because she's the older sister, but I should have known because I am the younger sibling that Holden got a little swag to him. He gives me like, he was in a fraternity. He has that, but he's like funny. He's interesting. And I also thought it would be Han that would be getting Holden together. But for real, it's Holden getting Han together. And I like it. Thank you.
Okay. So we finally, 30 minutes in, get to Kyoto. Okay. So Scott and Lori get to the clue word right before Jonathan and Anna. And I really do think this is like starting to grate on Jonathan a little bit where he's like, how is this happening? Okay. And we get the route information, which says buy a piece of, I'm going to mispronounce it, like omakuchi, fortune telling paper, dip it in the water and reveal the location of your next clue. It also should have said, write down this information because if this paper dries, the clue name is going to disappear.
But I also thought that was cheating, though, like from Amazing Race. Like, why would it disappear? I feel like after you wet it, it should be there. But
I loved it. It led to one of the best scenes of the episode. Unfortunately, at Courtney and Jasmin's expense, but I love them and they were good sports and whatever. So anyway, they dip the paper in. It sends you to Shiramin Jinju Shrine or something like that. Don't judge my pronunciation. I don't speak Japanese. Although I do feel like Carson does, or at least has just a very good accent or is faking it well. I don't know. So Jack and Carson get to the clue box third, followed by Josiah and Alyssa. Carson may have just learned 6 words. I don't know, but he does those 6 words very well. And it makes me think he has some sort of background in this. Scott and Lori make a mistake. This is my tisk for Scott and Lori this episode. It's little, but they are, I believe, the only team, maybe Courtney and Jasmin do it, who let their taxi go. Everyone else has held their taxi and said, we'll be right back. And Scott and Lori are now behind, even though they were in first, because everyone else kept their car. Come on, guys. You know better than that. This is when we see Han and Holden finally start the leg. And we see these 2 little deer in the streets of Osaka. And I'm thinking, adoption time. Let's go get the deer. Why are there deer roaming the streets of Osaka?
I didn't
don't
even
know.
see the deer.
Two big, they were great. Okay, so Pops and Jeff will say land, because apparently they're on a rocket, in Kyoto, as Jonathan and Anna gets the roadblock. First, the roadblock says, who is up for some kicks? This is, you have a gripe? Because I have a gripe.
I do have a gripe. Okay, so I like this. I just felt like for the express pass, now I haven't seen a lot of Amazing Race, but I thought for express passes, you have to leave the location that you're at and do something else, not just do the same thing. I was like, this is too easy. That is kind of what pissed me off a little bit. And I'm like, that's a little weird. Now, what I will say is, what I loved and why I was like, now Scott and Lori might be our winners of this Amazing Race season, because when they got there and saw that the two teams were doing it, Scott said, we don't need this. We're going to leave.
Like Lori said.
Lori. Shout out to Lori.
Said Scott did it. So, okay. So for anyone who doesn't watch the episode, but just watches us, which I now find out is actually people. Hi, Jace. Okay. So what you have to do is basically play hacky sack with like a kind of soccer ball for 5 kicks. Now, I never played soccer. I actually don't.
I did.
So Matt did. This is not hard. Like this is, even I could do this because I would do this with my nieces and just kick around a ball. And like, this is not particularly difficult.
Okay.
Hear me out.
It's not.
This is the first time in any Amazing Race season that I can remember where the express pass was gotten by just 2 people doing a roadblock. I have seen where a U-turn has been both teammates having to do a roadblock. So that is like the maybe not a U-turn, some penalty where the penalty was both teammates had to do the roadblock.
I've seen that too.
Right. So, but this struck me as way too easy, but I didn't mind it because we got this moment with Scott and Lori. So what had happened was Jonathan and Anna show up. Jonathan just goes first, does great. Anna admits, I don't play the sports ball, and so I'm not going to be good at this. This is where I feel it's a little Brooke and Scott because she's trying and she's talking to herself and she's hyping herself up because she, like I, likes to talk to herself. He is getting a little bit frustrated that his wife is not good at this and decides, I'm just going to walk away. I don't care if she's going, that was good, right? And he's gone because he's decided to take 5 and count to 10 in the corner because he needs to calm down. All the while, Carson does this, and then it's Jack's turn. My favorite moment of this episode is Scott does it because apparently teaching 612 kids to play soccer will prepare you to be very good at, I don't remember what this is called, but it makes you good at this, right? So Scott gets it and looks at Lori and says, do you want to try? And she just says, no. She doesn't even go, she goes, no, because they're playing psychological warfare with everybody else, and everyone else sees them leave. They're now in first place. Everyone starts to freak out. They're not at the front of the pack anymore. I loved this. Lori didn't even think about it. And honestly, they could have very well gotten the express pass because he had caught up. And if she was any like half decent at it, she would have beaten the other 2. Doesn't even matter. She doesn't even care. They'd rather be in first, and they're out of there. Good.
Yeah, I thought it was so smart. Again, especially when 2 teams are there and they are like, yeah, what's the point? Let's leave and try to get this first place. Let's chef's kiss. I loved it. Now, Jonathan, I'm not going to cuss you out because we like you. But so instead of highlighting Jonathan, I feel like I'm going to highlight Anna because this is a case of know your audience, right? And I think that the problem in relationships, sometimes, even though I'm not in a relationship, but listen, welcome to counseling with Brice, right? The problem, hold on. Hello. Well, welcome to Relationship with Dr. Brice. The problem sometimes in relationships is that people have needs and people have wants. The problem sometimes is that you are looking for your needs to be met by your partner, but your partner needs and wants are different. And so you are expecting them to give you the love and reassurance that you need when really it's within. And so if you have the hindsight to know that my partner in this moment cannot give me what I want, you can get it from within, because if you look for that from your partner who cannot give it to you, then you will get frustrated. But if you have the hindsight to know who your partner is and know their strengths and know their weaknesses, you know that I won't look for him in this moment, because if I do, I will get upset. And so my good friend Anna has taken love with Dr. Brice before, because she knew that in that moment, Jonathan could not give her the reassurance, because Jonathan only knows number one, so he only knows, and Anna knows I can't get that from him. So I have to dig deep inside of me and get it from myself. And Anna got it from herself. Thank you for coming to Dr. Love.
Hey, Brice. Hey, Brice.
Yes.
I just met someone called Dr. Brice or Dr. Love. Where's that guy from? Because he had one hell of an accent.
I don't know. I think he has some Count Chocula cookies or some cereal. I don't know. I never met him before. I'm single. I need to take some of his counseling advice.
It was very wise. He's very wise. If you ever see him again, tell him I think he's wise. Meanwhile, we have Courtney and Jasmin, Erica and Melinda, Brett and Mark, Nick and Mike, Bernie and Kerrigan, all getting to the invisible paper part of this thing. I want to say they did show, and I like this is the 90-minute episode thing because we're learning more about people. They did show a little bit about Kerrigan in the car where she talks about, I'm not Black enough, I'm not Hispanic enough, I never really fit in. So no matter who you are or how you identify or what you look like or whatever, you can achieve anything. And so I love that positive attitude. I really, really like this team. And the one thing I will say, and I know it's jumping ahead a bit, but when Kerrigan goes to do this task and Bernie doesn't do it, and we all know that Bernie would have done it in 10 seconds because she's the best at everything. Shout out, Bernie. Love you. I very much appreciated that just sort of a little bit different. Bernie knew what Kerrigan needed and gave Kerrigan the support and reassurance that she needed. Bernie sat there and she was like, you've got this, you're doing great. And she never once said, at least to the camera that they put in the episode, I should have done it. Like, they just left that part out. She's sitting there praying. You can see it in the back. She's like, just don't say anything bad. She needs positivity. But she was very positive and supportive of her partner, which I loved. Anywho, at this point, Anna has gotten the express pass, and Jonathan's whole demeanor changes from, I gotta count to 10 in the corner, to my wife is amazing. Oh my God, she did it. I knew she could do it. She's the best at everything. It's hilarious. It is just so funny.
I love Jonathan, right? Like now he come back. He's like,
I knew you could do it, baby,
right.
the whole time. Never had a doubt. Never for a second questioned it. Guys, could you not air the part where I'm in the corner cursing the world? Let's just not put that on the air, because I was always supportive. Like, it's just, these are rewriting history a little bit, but I'm okay with it. They tell a story about how Carson played soccer, but how really he chased daffodils instead of chasing the soccer ball. Like, they're pretty funny. The second Jonathan and Anna get it, Jack's like, okay, we're out of here. So they're in second. Jonathan and Anna are in third with the express pass, because we all knew she could always do it, especially Jonathan. And all those other people that we just mentioned are at the invisible ink at this point. And who cares? So they have to go to this temple. I'm not going to pronounce it right. Osaka, sorry, I'm not even going to bother. For the next clue. I like in this is very much reminiscent of like an old season too. It's not go here, do something, go here, do something, you're done. This is go here, find something, it will send you somewhere else, then do something, then find something else, and then go somewhere else and do something. I like that there are extra stops. The Amazing Race is doing me a solid and giving me extra stops because it allows for the changing of the leaders and people to get lost. And I enjoy when all of that happens.
Agreed.
I needed to breathe, so I was hoping you were going to say more than breathe.
Okay, no, I mean, I love it. I do. I think it's great.
Great. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Breathe.
Here we go. Meanwhile, Han and Holden's train/rocket, whatever, arrives. And Holden says, we're going to move with urgency, but we're going to move with purpose, and we're going to dig deep. And I like his whole, normally like that Zen hippie dippy stuff just annoys me. Not with them. I really am enjoying them. And I'm sitting here still thinking they're going home and being like, well, damn, because I'm actually really enjoying them. This makes me sad. I'm not happy about who went home. I want to make that clear. Agreed. Side note, watch our interview with the fourth eliminated team of The Amazing Race. It was lovely. They are lovely. Big fans. Okay.
Yes.
Josiah and Alyssa get to the Roadblock fourth. He doesn't, which is interesting to me because she says she's a D1 soccer player from Temple.
From where though? From where though? From where though? Okay, Alyssa is a D1 soccer from my alma mater, TU. Shout out Temple University with my girl Alyssa. Okay, when she said that, I said TU. There's not really many times that I get to like kind of sort of celebrate my school that I went to. And for a long time, I felt like, you know what? Temple don't really celebrate me like that. But maybe like 2-3 years ago, they did write a piece about me. And so, yes, it's in the Owl News, so you can read that. But shout out to Alyssa for being
the Owl News?
Yes, because we're the Owls, the Temple
My high
Owls.
school mascot was the Owls, not Ferocious. But okay, great. We have something in common.
Shout out Temple.
He does it, which I don't totally understand, but maybe they're switching back and forth, and I don't know. And he does it really well and do it super fast. So but I just sort of think if this is something you know is your thing and you know you're not right at the front, I mean, switch up the order. There'll be something that he's good at. Maybe it's something else with being a ninja. He wants to be a ninja more than anything. So, but fine. Josiah does great. He does it fast. They're in. They're out. They're moving on. Oh, that was a good throw. They're moving on. While this is happening, so many back and forth. Scott and Lori get to the Detour. Now, the Detour's options are fold it or fling it. In fling it, you have to throw 3 spikes, 3 throwing stars, and 3 blow darts each at these targets. Sounds easy. It is not. No one completes it.
And again, I question, I'm sure in Amazing Race, like a Survivor, they have a dream team.
They do.
Is it called the dream team?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The testers do it, and they have to make sure it's doable. And I have had this conversation with people, like with the production people, because I was curious when I was running the race. They are all tested. In fact, fun behind the scenes little note that at least for my season, I know the seasons before, I don't know what happened in COVID because they sent people home. Once you are eliminated, you are sequestered. You are brought to the finale city at the time of the finale. Eliminated contestants from our season tested all of the tasks for the finale episode.
Oh, wow.
So not only were they tested by testers, but eliminated cast members did the driving around the track and the changing of the tire and all of the stuff for our finale episode. So what?
Well, I'd like to meet the testers of this one because this seemed like fairly impossible.
Yeah,
however,
this was hard.
Again, like I said, I just think the issue of this wasn't that it was so hard. They just needed more supplies at the actual playing field when it was live.
Well, the thing is, if one person could learn to throw the spike, I mean, that one would have gone so fast. So if one person got it, like that would have been so unbalanced the other way. Because in Fold It, you had to make a little origami crane that was about, I don't know, 150 times the size of this little origami crane shape. It's pretty good. Check them out. Hi, how are you? So the paper was huge. I don't know the dimensions, but it was longer than people. So it was probably like 8 feet by 8 feet or something like that, 7 feet by 7 feet. And making an origami crane, not terribly difficult if you know what you're doing. And they did have a demonstration there, but you had to wait for it to be over and then watch from the beginning, which, as we all know, I find annoying with demonstrations, but what are you going to do? So Scott and Lori decided to be ninjas because that's what their kids would do, and they want to make their kids happy. Great. Right. So while they're doing this, I have everything written in like chronological order because there's so much skipping back and forth. So that's how I'm going to do it. Well, we're not even close to these two, but sure, fine. The Fox brothers get there like way later.
They're ninjas.
And they decide to be ninjas also.
And here's the thing, though. If I got
Not
that
good
clue,
ones. No one was good at the ninja. It's not against them. Nobody could do it.
and it seemed like they got the hang of it, though. But I would have been a ninja, though. If I would read that, I would have
Same.
thought that ninja
Well-
would have been a little easier. So I'm not mad for the people that went, because reading and hearing the clue, I would have went for the ninja.
Plus, they're right next to each other. You give it a shot. If you're not good at it, you go do the, like, I know how to do this. Like, I could do this, like, quickly. I still would have wanted to go be a ninja just because
Right.
it just looks like more fun. Like, whatever. So anyway, at this time, Erica and her mom and Courtney and Jasmin are at the Magic Paper. Pops and Jeff are at the Roadblock. This is what I was waiting for. Pops does a roadblock. He did the one with the climbing, but this was like a little bit, because everyone was doing that at the same time. You didn't really get to like experience Pops doing a roadblock. He's great. He's kicking the ball so hard because his leg muscles don't allow him to kick something softly, because he is just such, even tapping it will make the ball go flying 50 feet into the air. He falls over. He doesn't care. Like, Jeff is like, get up, you got this. He's falling down. But he doesn't stop smiling. He does it very quickly. They're currently in 5th place at this point. I really, really enjoy them. They've got the smarts. They're having fun. I thought they would be out kind of early just because they got lost in New York City, and that's a grid. But you know what? You have taxi drivers driving you around. We'll see what happens if they have to drive themselves.
Yeah, I love Jeff and Pops, and I love the fact that it's father, son, but it's more like brother or best friends, right? Like, I like how, like, if my dad were to fall while doing a challenge, I would have been like, oh, Dad, get up. Like, Jeff's like, you got it, get up. Like, let's go. Come on, keep it moving. Like, I like the way that they motivate each other. And, they're from the Midwest. So, like, sometimes big cities might be a little, because he got lost in New York. So I was worried. But it is so good to see how savvy they are and how, like, interesting and, like, how just the way that they connect with people. I love it.
I do too. That's a good way to put it. They make good connections, whether it's with another team in the alliance with Eric and Melinda, or whether it's just with random people online and getting them to switch spots, or the desk agent at an airport helping them out. They have a good social game going on.
We call it swag. They have very good swag. They're just like cool people. And the cream of the crop was Pops and Jeff and Melinda and Erica teaming up. That I loved that. That for me sealed the deal for Erica. I love Erica.
And why did they team up? Because we have to keep the old people in the race. I enjoyed the logic. You were saying go back to Erica because we can't talk about her enough. Like,
yeah, and I love how, like, willing she is to help. Now, mind you, I do sometimes on The Amazing Race, I don't always like to see teams help each other, but at this portion of the race, I love it. I think it's imperative, right? Because it's like, if we could group up and we could get it through. Yeah, and I like the fact that this is not the first team that Pops and Jeff have teamed up with, right? They've teamed up with the nurses. Boom, now they got Erica. It's like you can sense that they are, like, good people, and that one of their strengths is that, like, we lean on other people, or we know how to, like, maneuver. So I love this pairing of mother-son, father-son, mother-daughter, mother-daughter, father-son.
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly. Okay, so Nick and Mike, Brett and Mark, Brody and Kerrigan are at the Magic Paper. Nick and Mike held their taxis, smart boys, because other people did not. Meanwhile, Courtney and Jasmin did not hold their taxi, and they are trying to figure out how to get to the next place. And they're like, we should ask a bus driver. So they go to ask a bus driver, but their paper has dried, and they can no longer read the location that they are going to. Thankfully, I don't know if production provided it for them or if they had it on their own. They have a bottle of water with them, so they redouse their paper in water, and they know where they're going. That's like a fun little scene. I enjoy that. Okay.
Elise, the bus stopped this time, and it looked like he tried to wait for a little bit, but then he was like, oh, listen, I gotta continue on this route. I gotta get these people to work. But shout out to the bus driver for stopping for our queens, okay?
Okay, back to the detour. So we're at Fling It. The spikes were obviously the hardest part. Almost everyone wants to be a ninja and then gives up because being a ninja is hard. Scott and Lori, they have decided to give up. Jack and Carson get there, and they start talking some Dungeons and Dragons shit that, like, I don't understand at all. But they did say they were going to teach me Dungeons and Dragons, so I'll learn it someday, and I'm excited. They do badly immediately, but they're having fun, and
but
being a ninja is not for them.
something that I thought that Carson and Jack did smart was like, okay, well, listen, there's nobody there. Let's go try it. Let's go to the real thing. And then that's when they discover, like, oh, wait a minute, we only get 3. That's not enough dungeons, too many dragons. We gotta go. So I love the fact that they were like, this ain't gonna work out good for us. So let's go.
And you know what? I agree. When you have to make me bigger. When you
I don't
feel like maybe we've discussed this in the past, but I'll say it again for emphasis. Hi, my name is Brooke Ham. Hi, I'm on season 29 of The Amazing Race. Welcome to my TED Talk. When you get, for future Amazing Racers, when you get to a detour, sometimes they are on opposite sides of the city. When they are in the exact same place, and one of them looks fun, and one of them looks, less fun, I'm not against you trying the fun one, especially if it's something that's objective. If it's not, I would usually say do the objective one over a subjective one where somebody judges your ability to dance or your ability to act or whatever. In this case, I have no problem that all the people wanted to try and be a ninja. Scott and Lori, I think, said it best, and they were like, I know it's going to take a minute to put on the outfit and whatever. Give it a shot. The other one is right inside. I got no problem with this. But do what Scott and Lori did. Do what Jack and Carson did. If it's not working out for you, do not spend 38 tries. That's not a number I picked randomly. I believe that's the actual number that Josiah and Alyssa tried to do the task before they went inside. So try it and then move on. Okay, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yes, okay. So let's see. We've got these people give up. These people give up. Jonathan and Anna show up. He said she's good at throwing things. I feel like there's a slight somewhere in there. And then they try for a bit.
Okay, because I caught that. I caught that. Okay, I feel like Jonathan he had to duck a couple of times. Okay.
I heard it too. Okay, then Josiah and Alyssa show up. He's in heaven. I don't think he cares what goes on right now. All he wants to do is be a ninja. Japan is his happy place. His brother's been there now. He's been there. They never want to quit. But again, you heard my TED Talk. 38 tries is too many tries. But they are just so supportive and so loving and so wonderful that I get not wanting to start from scratch when you've been trying something for so long. But you would like to think, if this were a dance challenge or something, I would have said don't quit, because at some point the judges are going to get a bit easier on you and you'll probably get it if you've been there for that many times. However, when it is hit a target or not hit a target, it's not something that a judge can say, okay, you did it. Either you did it or you didn't do it. And since they weren't getting better and there were other teams still not there, they absolutely made the right decision and went inside to start folding the huge crane. So I think they stayed too long, but that's okay because they're still in it.
I love Alyssa's though, like her just tenacity of I want to get this. We not quitting, and this is not how I want to go out. But also, it was like Josiah in that moment, like, listen,
we get it. Does he have a brother?
Okay, Josiah, do you have a brother, an uncle, a dog at this point? Because I need some companionship, and I need some companionship that's going to talk to me like that. Because, in that moment, I'm at the airport, and I'm, crying. It's 6 a.m, and I'm just like, oh, my God. I love how, because he's just so hype. He's so I'm going to be a ninja. And then Alyssa kind of is getting upset, and he just grounds her, and he's, saying the exact things that you need to hear. So Josiah,
do you have a dog? I need someone to talk to me like that. If you have a talking dog, I'll take it, because that shit's gonna make me rich. I would like your talking dog. Okay, back to Fold It. We got Scott and Lori again. He makes paper airplanes. First, I don't think this is what you're supposed to be doing. I don't go to church, but I feel like at church you're probably not supposed to be making paper airplanes, but I don't know. I'm not judging. Everyone does what they do when they do it, and that's cool. But he makes paper airplanes in church every Sunday with his kids. This is my surprise of the season, these two. Maybe when you make 517 paper airplanes every Sunday, you become good at folding an origami crane. Who knew? Okay. They're so far ahead, whatever. We're jumping back to the roadblock. I'm sorry, we're all over, but I don't care. Erica gets there. Erica played volleyball in college, a bunch of sports in high school. She's fast, but I personally feel like Melinda should have done this one. It was not particularly physical. Melinda hasn't done any yet. And I feel that they're going to get to a point. This has been 3 legs. They're going to get there where Erica's not going to be allowed to do anymore. And then if it's something that Melinda can't do, if it's like a lot of running, which you can tell that she needs to slow down a lot. She is from the school of Brooke and the school of Lori, where she likes to slog. She might be in trouble. So this is one where you could see afterwards, Erica's like, you should have done this. Melinda should have done this, because you got to save Erica for something harder in the future. Mike and Nick, I don't remember which one does it, because I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I have trouble telling them apart. Well, they're both like handsome.
Previous episodes, I could tell them apart because Nick was the calm one and Mike got a little hype. And so I was like, okay, I'm more Mike than Nick. But then in this episode, I was getting them confused because they both were getting hype with each other. But I love the sibling fighting that took place this episode, because it again reminded me, like, growing up, I also felt like at one point in time Lori and Scott were gonna come out and have to like sit.
Oh no, they were gone. They were way gone. But I will tell you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just thought they was gonna have to come back. I thought Phil was gonna say, "Hey, Scott, Lori, we having some sibling. You go fix it, okay?"
I will say, when Nick and Mike, especially, tell you, Han and Holden, that you need to calm down. When there's a world where Mike is telling you to calm down, I think you might be a little too hyped up. That's all I'm saying.
I was cracking up though, and I don't know if it was Nick or Mike when they were learning the origami, and Nick is like me and was like, "Look at those siblings over there. Look at them." And Mike is like, "Hey, we're here."
Demonstration, right? So whichever one does it, they're very fast. It's 7th. Brett does it. They're fast. They're in 8th. Bernie and Kerrigan get there. Since Bernie did the first 2, Kerrigan decides to do this one. She's nervous because she doesn't play the sports ball, but she's here for what looks like too long. But again, we said earlier, good job, Bernie, on being supportive. Good job, Kerrigan, on not giving up. Meanwhile, at the Detour, because we're going back and forth because nobody's at the same place at the same time. It looks like teams are figuring out flinging, but no, it's not. They're not, because nobody's actually getting anywhere. Jonathan and Anna switch. Carson and Jack switch. Carson used to make, first of all, this is hilarious. He used to play soccer, but not really. He picked flowers. He used to make origami cranes in the library during school instead of playing outside with the other kids. This kid's great. Like, these two are very funny to me. He's like Caesar. He has a story for everything. And Caesar had a job for everything. It's working out for them, so.
And their social media presence is absolutely amazing. Their reels and stuff that they put out for the episodes, and their podcast is great. I think they had Rohan and Maya on last week. So if you haven't checked their podcast out about Amazing Race, make sure you check it out, because they be cracking me up. Okay. Had to plug my Dungeons and Dragons brothers.
Are you going to let them teach you too, and we can play together? No? Okay,
I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe.
It might be fun. I don't know. People like it. Let's see. Okay. Josiah and Alyssa are still trying. They're at like 30-something tries. Give up, move on. Okay. So Scott and Lori are making this crane. They are very good at following directions. They've probably done every art project for all 412 of their kids. So that's probably why they're good at this. And they are done first. At the same time, Han and Holden are at the invisible paper. So you know how far back these two are. They are savvy enough, however, to write down the location in case their paper dries. So while this is happening, Courtney and Jasmin are at the roadblock, and they have caught up to Bernie and Kerrigan. Courtney does the roadblock, which was probably not the right answer because she's a band geek instead of a jock. Said from love, from a chorus geek and a band geek myself. So she does as well as she can do. She only gets frustrated really once, that you can tell. And they both say, Kerrigan and Courtney both say, as long as Han and Holden don't show up, we are fine. 6 seconds later, Han and Holden show up. And this is Holden's moment to shine, because he played soccer in high school. Tell me.
Holden killed it. Holden's like, I'm used to doing this, practicing before we play a game. Now I'm just in Japan playing with 3 random people that I'll never see again. But Holden came in and smoked it Okay, it must have been that fuel from the McDonald's from last week's episode. But Holden came in and smoked it. And this is what I will say. A team like Han and Holden, I keep my eye on, right? Because it's like they are still at the back of the pack. However, in a season like this, anything can happen. We can see how fast you can move forward. They are on the right trajectory, right? Like if they keep making these pace and progress, like anything can happen. But they got to learn to communicate better. But also, I don't want them to because I love it.
Right, because it's really fun to watch.
It is. And it's like, it's siblings. And so it's like they yell at each other, they're screaming, and then they get it together. So that's what I love the most about
That's exactly how my brother and I would have been, minus the get it together part. We would have just been yelling and screaming and never would have gotten it together. But I didn't care. I wanted to run this race with anybody. He gets it in one try, which is amazing for him and not so amazing for the two ladies who are there trying, who are like, oh my God, like legitimately one try. While that's going on, Erica and Melinda have found Pops and Jeff, have brought them to the Detour clue, and have decided we're working together to keep the old people in. So, which is good for Pops and Jeff because they walked right past the Detour clue. So thank you to Erica and Melinda for helping Pops and Jeff. When they get to the clue, they all decide together they're going to do the fold it. When they do get to the fold it, they keep getting confused, but they are very good about going back, watching the demonstration again, because even if you waste 5 minutes watching the demonstration, you're not going to do what other teams did, which was one of the original folds being done backwards, and then you have to start the whole damn thing over, and that is annoying. So, yeah, Mark and Brett are also at the Detour. They have decided to fold it. They are a little bit snarky at each other, and I think, at least the way it looks on TV, Brett is like, I think this is how we do it, and Mark's like, but if you're not sure, let's watch. She's like, just let me figure it out.
Yes. So I'm Brett, though, right? Let me try it and figure it out. But I'm also Mark, though. Like, this is an amazing race, and there are steps that are crucial. But I'm also with Mark. Wait, is it Brett or Mark? Mark? Brett.
Brett's the one who is like, I think I know it. And Mark's like, let's go watch the demonstration.
Yeah, I'm with Brett, though. Like, let me get my zhuzh. Let me figure it out, because it's like that's how I am. Okay,
no, and I'll tell you why. I love you. Wrong. And I'll tell you why.
Listen, because I can put together IKEA furniture. I don't need instructions.
I love putting together IKEA furniture. The problem here is, even if the furniture is correct at the end, I think they still would have gotten a no, because these tasks are about following all the steps. It reminds me of being back in Venice and making that mask that we had to make, and teams made it look right at the end. But if you didn't put that black coat on the bottom before you put your color coat on and smush it together, even if it looked right, you were getting a no because you didn't do the steps right. And this is about the steps. And so I got to tell you, Mark, I would say, is right, because even if you made it look right at the end, if you skipped a step or did them out of order, I think you were getting a thumbs down. So I'm team Mark on that one. Anyway,
right. Just let them cook for a little bit, then go. But, I understand.
It's your 500th episode. Like, honestly, I want to let you be right on everything, even when you're not. But Brice, you're right. You're amazing. Okay. Mike and Nick, at this point, now try to fling it. They are being ninjas. They are sort of it looks like they're getting the hang of the sticks, the spikes, whatever they are. But they're not. They do for a second, and then they realize, oh my God, we don't have any leeway whatsoever when we get to the testing area. And one of them, I'm going to guess it's Nick, who says, let's stop for a moment and ground ourselves. This is also where the 90-minute episodes come in, because we learn, for some reason we learn this, that 10 years ago, Nick was assaulted, had to have his jaw wired shut, and had to learn how to navigate through life with, what's the word I want? Difficulties happening around him. Maybe this is where the meditation comes from, because they sit, they think, and they realize, we're two guys from New York. We're not ninjas. Let's go fold something instead. So, smart move. They decide to go. Scott and Lori have finished their crane, even though they did it backwards, then they fixed it, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they're at it. Josiah and Alyssa are still struggling at fling it, but at 38 tries or something ridiculous, they have their moment where she's at a 10, he's at a 1, they meet at a 5, they're in love, they're wonderful. They decide, we're not ninjas. Let's go fold something. Although when they're folding something, Josiah looks at the camera and says, I'm still a ninja, which I love. They're so cute. Kerrigan is suffering at the roadblock. Courtney is suffering at the roadblock. Han and Holden show up now at the Detour and decide immediately that they're going to fold it. They don't even bother. Wait, am I skipping something? I don't even know. They don't even bother thinking about flinging it. I don't know. Somebody's folded paper in the past. Whatever. Okay. Erica, at this point, decides to just start doing Jeff and Pops' crane for them because this is what an alliance is. So she's going over there and she helps them, which I'm for it. If you're going to help and maybe there's, I mean, look, let's get real. Maybe there is a task coming up that is brute force strength.
That's what I was thinking.
You're going to go, remember when I made that crane for you over there? Remember when I showed you where that detour clue was? Can you have your dad come lift this 400-pound thing for my mom? Because she can't do it. Oh, maybe she can. I don't know.
I feel like, but Jeff and Pops are so good people that I don't even feel like she'll have to
anyway,
act.
right?
They would just do it. Because at first when I'm watching this, I'm like, Erica, girl, you're doing too much. However, it's still only the 3rd episode.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, cement this relationship. And so I really do feel like it will come back full force or full circle and help her. So initially I was like, "Argh," but also it's Pop and Jeff. So also I'm always going to be on Pop and Jeff's side. So I like this, but I mean, not too much.
So she's just doing it for them. But she didn't do the whole thing. She just fixed the one. There was one fold that I think everyone was getting a little bit wrong. And if you skipped it and missed it, then your whole thing was backwards and your head and your tail were where the wings were supposed to be. And it's a whole mess.
What was taking me out, though, when Scott and Lori did it, they stood up. Towards the end of the episode, people were just holding them up like, check.
Please. It's good. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's good. I swear.
I'm like, there is no way y'all are asking for a check and y'all are holding that ain't even a swan at that point.
It should stand. It should just on its own, just like that. Just this. I'm actually proud of this. I'm sending this to you in the mail. Okay. Anyway, Carson and Jack start to get something that looks like a crane, but Scott and Lori are first. Carson and Jack are second. Jonathan and Anna are third, and it's a race to the pit stop. Konkai Konyoji Temple or something like that. Don't get mad at my mispronunciation, please. But between Scott and Lori and Carson and Jack, it is legitimately a foot race to the end. And I shouldn't even be surprised anymore. Honestly, like, it just shouldn't. Scott and Lori are my surprise team of the season. I wrote them off so quickly. Please accept my apologies.
Listen, I love them.
Wrong.
I do feel like they are ahead of the pack too much, though, right? Like, it scares me.
Well, I would agree with you, but for our next episode, there's this thing like called the driver's seat, where if you get there first, you basically get to determine everybody else's fate. So you know what? Although I can't imagine, they would have to have some sort of bunching point before that. There's going to be, they're going to Bali, so there's going to be a flight. So it can't just be this order. But I'm really curious to see who gets this power, and even more curious to see who they decide to piss off. Okay, so Courtney finally gets the roadblock after being the last person there. She even does an extra kick for good measure. She's crying. She's relieved. We hear this story, because it's a 90-minute episode, about her mother and how she went from healthy to sick with brain cancer quickly, and how she knows she wishes her mom could be there to watch this, but she's watching her from above. I am legitimately sobbing, so damn you, Amazing Race, for doing this to me every freaking week. But something makes me cry, and this was it. I mean, it seems you would think they're out, but at this point, no, because there are still people at the Detour.
Yes.
Some of those people are Alyssa and Josiah, who, after they've decided to swap, come inside and see Mike and Nick, Mark and Brett, and Han and Holden all still there. Now, Mark and I think Melinda and Erica get it in 4, so they're out of there. Brett and Mark get it almost immediately thereafter in 5th. Pops and Jeff get it almost immediately thereafter in 6th. Okay. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So Alyssa and Josiah sail through folded. Like, if they did this in the beginning, I'm thinking they might have gotten first place, because they didn't actually do the mess up that Scott and Lori did. So, but that's okay. He wanted to be a ninja. He tried. I feel like he's okay with that.
He is an origami ninja. Okay?
He's an origami, the origami ninja. That's actually a cool nickname.
Yes. So listen.
I like it.
Ninjas come in all different shapes, papers, heights. So, Josiah, you are an origami sumo ninja.
In the shape of a crane. So Bernie and Kerrigan go to fling it for a hot second, but then they swap, and which is one of the
Let's
only
talk about
times-
this real quick though, because okay, Bernie do know everything, but I want to just shout this team out real quick because we saw them have a kerfluffle at the airport where Scott was ear hustling, and Kerrigan was saying, well, every time I say something, Bernie, you want to do something else. I liked in this moment because I want to give a shout out to Bernie because Kerrigan was like, "Are you thinking we should switch?" Bernie said, "What do you want to do, Kerrigan?" Like she was empowering her, right? And like just the way that Bernie stood there, you could see that like Bernie was purposely like, "Okay, we had to talk about this. Let me listen to Kerrigan." And Kerrigan was like, "Let's switch." And they did it. And I was like, okay, see, I love this team. Like I said last week, the yin and the yang. It was a rocky start, but they are getting their communication down. Okay. And so it's like we're on a good trajectory. So I really love this team. But like when I saw Bernie and them have that conversation, I'm like, wow, like they really corrected their errors. Like they're really good friends. Like I love them. I love Kerrigan standing on her business and saying, like, we need to switch. Bernie said, let's go. And Bernie should be good at making origami because we know Bernie is good at everything. So it's like, it's a win-win. Let's go. Love them.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right. Like when they had the conversation, she's like, this is how it's going to be in the future. And you know what? One leg later, this is how it was. So claps to both of you. That was a good job. Done with this. So where are we in all this confusion? I don't know. Page 15. At folding. Courtney and Jasmin have a rise and go right to fold it. Josiah and Alyssa are out in 7th. We talked about that. Bertie and Kerrigan have now decided to go to fold it. They have folded some stuff. They asked for a check, but it is wrong. Their tail and their head and their wings are reversed. So the whole thing's messed up. Nick and Mike and Han and Holden have decided to work together just to get out before other people. And Nick and Mike go in and do the fold. There was like one fold that everyone's messing up. Do the fold for Han and Holden that they had messed up. What's up?
Mike don't wash his own clothes. He just take it to the laundry mat. And Nick, they mom still fold their clothes. Okay. I love the Fios brothers. They're so interesting.
They are very entertaining. And it's funny because like they're helping Han and Holden, but at the same time, they're like, yo, we're trying to watch a demonstration over here. Siblings, calm down. From the super calm Mike of this team, you guys need to take it down a notch, which is hilarious to me.
So listen, they meditated, so they got they zen, so they're locked in,
and it causes them to get out of there in 8th. Han and Holden in 9th. Bernie and Kerrigan get out in 10th. However, they cannot get a taxi. And editing being what it is, we see Courtney and Jasmin last, and they make this comment that I just think is the funniest line of the episode. I think it's Courtney that says, if we were in a hospital, the patient will be dead at this point, which is so funny and so twisted. And at least they still have their sense of humor. And I love that it's dark and twisty. It's my kind of humor. I'm a fan. They get out in 11th. They make it look like since Kerrigan and Bernie can't get a cab and these two just got out, who's going to make it to the pit stop first? Well, let's talk about it. Scott and Lori get there first, and they get $5,000, which is going straight into Lori's pocket because Scott's getting none of it.
So riddle me this,
so
Brooke, real quick, because I had a question for you. Okay, so we don't have the Travelocity Gnome anymore.
Right.
So like they're giving trips, but then they're giving money. So is it are we just, and when you get the trips, isn't it really like just money for like what the trip will cost?
So in every season, there are some legs that you get money. There are some legs that you win a trip. There used to be a leg where you win a car at some point and whatever. You do have to pay the taxes on the trips and whatnot. But
not the taxes. The taxes.
The taxes.
Well, trips.
Well, I think where you can, at least it used to be. Don't come at me if your season was different. You didn't have to take the trip. At one point, I think they would give you like cash value, but I think now it's you don't have to take the trip. You don't have to take it, which means you don't have to pay the taxes on it. But so it used to be you get a trip, period. Now that Expedia took over for Travelocity, it's you get like Expedia's thing is one key cash, and that is, but it's for a particular trip. So basically they're giving you a trip, but they're just plugging Expedia and saying it's one key cash for the value of this trip. So you're still getting your trip. Anyway, this is a $5,000 prize, which Phil is like, for you to share. And Laura's like, no, it's not. It's all mine, which is so funny. I just really like them. And Scott's like, yeah, it's all hers. That's fine. Carson and Jack come in 4 seconds later. They don't Phil doesn't even have the chance to congratulate Scott and Lori before Carson and Jack
coming
get
in.
And I really think if they'd run a little bit faster, they probably couldn't got in first place. Jonathan and Anna come in third, and I'm scared. I'm like ducking because I'm like, oh no, third place is the worst place they've been. Jonathan's going to have a conniption. It's not going to be good. But it turns out, if you give Jonathan an express pass, he's not mad about not being first. So, good to know. They have the express pass, and he talks about how he knew they would get it. His wife is a superstar. And I'm like, dig yourself out now. I just love them. I love them both. I can't wait to meet them face to face. Okay,
They're
Erica
amazing.
and Melinda are shocked that they're fourth. They're like, we climbed up. No one's more surprised than they are, and I really like them. I was wrong. Brett and Mark are fifth, which is great for them because at the end of the last episode, they were really down at the bottom, so they've started to climb back. I have a feeling they're going to continue to climb. Pops and Jeff are sixth. Josiah and Alyssa, I think could have been first or second, but are seventh, and that's fine. Josiah gets on the mat and says, do I look like a ninja? Like, he just get this man, like, to a dojo immediately. Nick and Mike are eighth. Han and Holden, in today's surprise, even though they started so far behind, come out in ninth due to, I'm guessing, Holden's soccer skills.
Yes,
it's not,
yes.
Well, and the help from Nick and Mike. Bernie and Kerrigan show up in 10th, and unfortunately, Jasmin and Courtney are last. But they do say some very kind things about each other, talk about spending their life together, and they ride off into the sunset. And I'm sad they're gone. I actually very much enjoyed watching their dynamic and wanted more of their humor. Gone too soon.
Them. Yeah, they were so calm and so methodical and so like,
what's that like?
Right. And seeing Courtney get frustrated this week was really hard, but seeing her pull herself together, seeing Jasmin support her, it was sad to see them go, but I'm glad that we got to meet them and have time with them on our TV screen. We did do an exit interview with them, so you should head to the Brice Izyah YouTube channel now and check it out. I think that they are amazing, and I'm sad that they're gone, but I'm excited that we have another episode coming next week. Now, I don't know how I feel about the driver's seat. We'll have to.
Don't know. But I will say, if I could just say one thing, could you just make me big for 1 second if possible? Because I'm vain and I want to see myself bigger. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please. My name is Brooke. I was on season 29 of The Amazing Race. I just want to take a moment to talk about one Brice Izyah. Not only is he the sparkling sunshine of a human being that you see on this podcast weekly, but in real life, he is genuinely just one of the kindest, most wonderful people. If you get to meet him, you are lucky enough to meet. So, since this is his 500th podcast, I would just personally like to make a request that you go over to his YouTube page, and while I am a fan of The Amazing Race over everything else, the man does everything. It's Survivor. It's The Amazing Race. It's Real Housewives. It's basketball. It's everything. If you're not The Amazing Race, what's wrong with you? But even if you're not, there is something for everyone on Brice's YouTube, on his podcast, Purple Pants, everything. The man is the hardest working man out there. So do me a favor, or do yourself a favor. Go subscribe, and when you have some time, watch anything and everything he's done, because I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Congratulations, Brice, on 500 episodes. Cheers to 500 more. You're amazing. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Boom.
Thank you, Brooke. I really appreciate that. Those kind words from Miss Brooke Cam High. I got so into Amazing Race with you, I forgot it was the 500th episode. So what a way to end it. What a way to spend it on the pit stop with Brooke. I appreciate you, Brooke, so much. I appreciate our listeners, and I appreciate the Purple Pants Posse. I was in... Where was I? In Nashville this week. And as I was leaving out in Nashville, someone stopped me and was like, are you going home to watch The Amazing Race? Because you and Brooke got to record. And I don't know why it took me off guard. Like, I was just like, you watch? And he's like, well, I don't watch Amazing Race. I just watch you and Brooke break it down because it's much better that way. So I appreciate it. And of course, I had to video it and send it to Brooke at an ungodly hour. And of course, she was.
Oh, I watched it. And then I showed it to my husband. And I was like, look, we have fans.
We do. So we love the posse. We appreciate you. And we will see you next week. And yes, cheers to the Purple Pants Podcast for hitting a huge milestone of 500. It is something that I do need to celebrate, and it's something that I need to talk about more because,
yes,
you know me, I try to be a humble king. I don't like to brag.
Well, someone's got to give you your flowers, and let it be me because you deserve it. I dropped it. This is coming to a shelf near you soon. What I call him? Reggie?
Reginald.
Congratulations.
Reggie for sure, yes. Well, thank you, Brooke, for sharing 500 episodes with me. We'll be back next week covering Amazing Race, season 37. We'll cover episode 4. Bye.
Bye.
It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.